Now we're going to continue the story of the trumpet, or actually any valved instrument. Now, part of the problems with the ABC is all that stuff I did up there was with a horn in B flat, the standard trumpet. But there are also trumpets out there, for instance heralding trumpets, which are in the key of F. The French horn, a single French horn, is normally in the key of F. If you pull a valve, it's B flat. There are triple horns that if you pull another valve, it goes into E flat. There are E flat euphoniums and E flat flugelhorns and E flat mellophones and C mellophones, and generally you can get a brass instrument in B flat, C, F, E flat, and just about any other G, just about any other key you want. So all that ABC stuff I did there earlier really depends on the cut of the horn. So that stuff's not carved in stone, and that was all based on concert pitch, which was what we read on the meter, not what you horn players who play B flat trumpet have been taught, because you're normally one pitch off. So when I'm talking about the A scale, you're thinking B scale when I'm talking about. In this case, since we're trying to get away from ABCs, and I'm trying to demonstrate here that you can learn to play a horn by interval and interval alone. You can learn by number and number alone, learn to read music by number, write music by number, and all you need is one scale. So if your horn's cut to C, you just follow these interval rules and then calculate all the notes out in the key of C, and that will tell you what all these notes are. Now the horn valve patterns are the same. And as I showed you earlier, based on the overtone series and based on the mechanics of the horn, what happens is we develop what's called a micro chromatic scale. That micro chromatic scale, each of these is an equal tune half step as we go along. So no valves on the horn, whatever that note might be. If you have a C horn, that would be a C. If you have an F horn, or F French horn, or an F heralding horn, that would be the note F. But it's still open tubing. And what happens is, if we go from there to the second valve on the instrument, what happens is we go down what's called a minor second. So if I am taking this trumpet and pushing this valve, I'm using the small tubing and going down one chromatic tone, which is why I represent that as the number 1. If I'm going from an open tubing down to the first valve here, then I'm going through twice the length, and I'm going through two chromatic tones. 2 chromatic tones is called a major second. 1 chromatic tone is a minor second. And if I wanted to play a pattern, I could just simply play an interval pattern of, just as I can play the microtone scale here, etc. I could skip over to this one, skip over the number 3 to 4, skip over the 4 to 6, skip over to the 6 over here to 1, skip over that to 3, skip that to 5, and then wind up right back here. And by going around the wheel twice, I could go from, in my case, the open concert pitch F down in major seconds and play a descending whole tone scale. Those are all major seconds, and I'm doing that by skipping every other note, because 2 chromatic tones equals a major second. Another interval that comes up a lot is we have to drop down a minor third. A minor third is 3 chromatic tones. A minor third is represented by the third valve here by itself. If I push the third valve, I'm getting this long piece of tubing here, which is this 2 plus this one 1, or 3 chromatic tones. And if I wanted to descend in chromatic tones or in a minor thirds, I would simply skip over 2 of these to that valve, 2 of these to that valve, 2 of these, so on and so forth. And by skipping over 2, by doing that, I am now descending in minor thirds. I can ascend in minor thirds by starting here and going to there, and from here to there, and blump, 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 on and around. All I have to do is go 3 chromatic tones. That means I'm skipping 1, 2 to the third one, 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 and I end there because I don't have anything below that open tone. Now, if I wanted to descend in major thirds, we need to have 4 chromatic tones. 4 chromatic tones equals a major third. And I could descend on this pattern by simply going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So if I start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I can go up or down in major thirds. So now I can play 5 chromatic tones is descending a fourth. I can go from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so going from here to here. One, two, three, 4. And play fourths by counting 5 chromatic tones. 6 chromatic tones would be what we call a tritone, a sharp 4 or a flat 5 in interval. So if I went from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you'll notice it's going backwards. Tritones. And of course, descending 7 here to there. That's 7 tones open to the next open drops a fifth. Now I can use these in different combinations to create scale patterns. And the other important thing is I don't have to start here. I can start on any one of these fingering patterns and follow this process and get the same intervals as you've just seen. For instance, I could start here with the third valve and want to go down a minor to a major second. So what I would do to go down a major second is skip over that. To go up. So all we do is I decide what interval I want, whatever the fingering I do have, and then skip over 2 chromatic tones. If I want to descend a minor third, let's say I'm on this fingering here, and I want to go down a minor third, I would just simply go down 1, 2, 3. So if I go from this fingering to that fingering, I'd be descending a minor third from a swing low, sweet chariot. Okay? And etc., etc. So from any position, I can map seconds, thirds, majors or minors, fourths, tritones or sevenths, anywhere I want to create any interval pattern that I wish. Now a scale is nothing but a sequence of interval patterns. And if it's a major scale or a minor scale, that sequence of interval patterns would be slightly different. And then the next section, that's what we'll talk about.